goes directly to President Bush and some of his doctrine. President Bush said to Congress, "We will make no distinction between terrorists and the countries who harbor them." This came to be known as the Bush Doctrine and marks the significant shift in U.S. policy. Do you agree with this approach?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, why should anyone harbor terrorists? This is the problem is of misunderstanding. There were some misunderstandings created, and I have told you one where I in 2003 and 4 started going on a track of political track of reaching out to the Pashtuns in the tribal agencies of Pakistan, and this was misconstrued that I am double crossing and I am double dealing, and that ISI and the army was double dealing. This was not the case. Army and the ISI were doing exactly what I was telling them to do. And I thought that the strategy ought to be, as I have told you, reach out to the Pashtuns, wean them away from the Taliban. That was my way of thinking, and that's what I was doing. Now, unfortunately, that was misunderstood and misconstrued, and which has been proven over the time now. When we have to reach out on a political path, we have to reach out to they are calling it moderate Taliban. I am not agreeing with that, frankly. I am talking of, I think it is the Pashtuns who we are reaching out to. So, I think that we must understand issues correctly so that we respond correctly to those issues.
Well, this is a good way to get into the question about the Secretaries of State. Does Hillary Clinton ever call you?
No, she hasn't, but I have met her in the past, about 3 times in the past when I was the President. But since the time that I'm in out of office, she hasn't called me. I haven't met her.
Condoleezza Rice was here a few weeks ago and spoke to our group, very well received. Can you give us any insight into conversations that you might have had with her, or how her policies may have affected?
I think, yes, I've met her so many times, and she used to come to Pakistan. And I think we had a good equation. Except that sometimes, going back to that previous question of yours, nobody wants to have an equation with terrorists. But what we need to understand, 2 things, yes, I would like to convey 2 things where the misunderstandings happen. When you talk of deals with the Pashtuns, in Afghanistan, when you talk of it, you should know that it has a strategic connotation. In that, you have to include the Pashtuns in governance in Afghanistan. They need to be maybe a dominant part of government in Afghanistan. But when you are talking of deals in Pakistan, it's very, very tactical. It's at a very small level. What are we doing when I am trying to talk to the Pashtuns in the tribal agency? Only that there should be peace and law and order in that tribal agency. Period. There is no strategic issue of their joining the government. Leave aside the central government, even the provincial government. So we must understand the two. There is a lot of difference between political deals on Afghan side and political deals on Pakistan side. This is one big thing. That is strategic. This is very tactical. The other thing, when you are talking of terrorists and dealing with them, unfortunately there have been problems because when you get involved, one is the strategic element of it. The strategic element is that we are together on the general direction that we have to defeat Al-Qaeda and we have to defeat Taliban. We have to deny the access of the Taliban on Pakistan side with those on the Afghan side. So therefore our direction, our strategic direction is quite clear. But when you get involved in how to execute the tactics of it, there can be differences. If there is an A, B and C, all three of them may be enemies, maybe against, maybe Taliban supporters. But if I adopt a policy or a strategy that I am going to deal with A first and use B and C to deal with A, leave it to me how I do it. But if you start telling me, no, you leave that and you deal with B and C also. Now if I was to deal with A, B and C, I am going to create a problem for myself. Maybe the troop requirement will double and triple if I did that. So what I am trying to say in very indirect terms, leave micromanagement, leave tactics to us, to me. Deal with the strategic direction. Don't tell me what is the methodology of dealing and reaching the objective that we've set. I know better my own people, the environment, more than you. So leave it to us. So that was the problem that sometimes did get created. And that was the problem which led to a lot of misperceptions about me. I don't know, there must be some people sitting here who thought that I have double-crossed you, that I was double-dealing. No, sir, that's not the truth. My direction was clear, objectives were clear, but the methodology that I adopted was mine. Nobody dictates to me the methodology that I adopt, because I understand the environment and the people more than you. Leave that to me.
So this question goes to that. There are a few of these. Do you think U.S. forces should be able to chase the Taliban into Pakistan and annihilate them or drive them out? So the U.S. coming across into Pakistan, what role should the U.S. play? Should they do it on their own? Do they need to leave it to you? Should we do it together? How does that work?
Leave it to Pakistan. As I said, it is most unpopular politically in Pakistan that you come across the border. Why do you want to do it? Why do you want to do something which is going to put the people of Pakistan massively more against you? Will you succeed in doing that is the other question. And let me tell you from a purely military angle, with all my understanding of the military, of the terrain, of the people. As I said, you are diluted in space in Afghanistan. Even now, you are diluted in space. Your force level is much less than the space demand. Therefore, why do you want to increase your space? You will fail again, and you will fail miserably. I think if you ask a military commander in Afghanistan, maybe he will agree with what I have said, purely from military point of view. The other issue now remains is that yes indeed, you have to deal with them. If I was to give you something that don't come, and I also don't deal with them, then there is a problem. So therefore you have to make Pakistan capable of dealing with them. Now how will Pakistan be more capable of dealing with them? One is the army, yes indeed. But there is a second line force in Pakistan which is called the Frontier Corps. The Frontier Corps has some advantages because they are from the locals. The Frontier Corps is entirely from the tribal agencies and from the frontier. They are more acceptable when they operate in the tribal agencies because they are their own people. Whereas when the army goes, the army is seen as an alien army because it's from other parts of Pakistan. Other ethnic groups, the Punjabis, the Sindhis, who are not welcome there. So therefore we need to raise Frontier Corps. And maybe we need to